Hello, and welcome to my little storytelling nook. Here, we can leave the world behind for a while. Here, we step into a realm of magic and wonder, a place to rest, to dream, and to simply be. Tonight, I'll be reading you a fairy tale called Elara and the Sorceress's Curse. A story of magic, friendship, courage, and the truth that, above all, the greatest gift in people is kindness. So, settle in, make sure you feel safe and comfortable. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let's begin. Once upon a time, when the stars still whispered to the trees and rivers carried songs of the moon, there lived a gentle girl named Elara. She was not a princess, nor a lady of a fine manner. She was a baker's daughter, with flour always dusting her hair and kindness shining in her eyes. One day, as the last loaves cooled, her father lifted one in his hands and sighed. "If I could ask for one thing, Elara, it would be star wheat," he said wistfully. "The grain from the old songs, golden as firelight, sweet as honey from the first fields of the earth. They say bread made from it could ease immense sorrows." "And where could we find such wheat?" Elara asked. He shook his head. "Nowhere. It is long gone, vanished when the world grew old. We only have what grows in our soil." "Even so," said Elara, "people come from every corner of the village for your bread." Her father sighed. "Bread to fill the belly, yes, but imagine bread that filled the heart too." Elara said nothing more, only smiled at her father, for she loved to share both work and dreams with him more than anything in the world. Later that evening, when their oven had cooled and the village lay quiet, she walked down to the river. The sun was sinking, painting the sky in shades of violet and rose. The first stars had begun to appear. The water moved, carrying these beautiful colors along its surface, and the world seemed to hold its breath between day and night. Elara often came there when she couldn't sleep, but this time was different. The air felt strange, alive, as if the night itself were waiting for something. From the reeds of the far bank stepped a majestic white stag, its coat shining and its antlers gleaming like silver branches. For a moment, Elara could not move. So strange and beautiful was the sight. The animal looked at her for a long moment. Then, without sound, turned and walked upriver. Without thinking, she followed. The path led her deeper into the forest, where the glow of twilight lingered in the leaves, and fireflies drifted like sparks in the air. At last, the girl reached a clearing where 3 more deer gathered by a still pool. Their eyes turned to her, large, sorrowful, and strangely knowing. And then, as the last rim of the sun slipped below the trees and the moonlight touched the deer, they began to change. Their antlers shimmered and unraveled into long, flowing strands of hair. Slender legs shortened and softened, hooves reshaping into graceful hands and feet. Their soft coats of fur thinned into mist. Tails flickered once and were gone, and one by one they became women, so beautiful it hurt to look at them. They joined hands, and with sad voices they began their song. We wander bound as deer by day, our human forms are torn away. Through forest deep our voices call, but no one hears, no one at all. The river knows our grief and fears. The trees stand silent, deaf for years. Remember this, though hope is long. The heart grows faint and dies of song. The first to step forward was their eldest sister. I am Leandra, the maiden said softly. Once we walked this forest freely, but Morwenna, the sorceress of shadows, cursed us and holds us fast. By day, we wear the shapes of deer, and by night, we may return to ourselves. We cannot leave, nor break the spell. Only one with the heart unshaken by fear may face Morwenna. Perhaps it is you? Elara's voice trembled. But I am no warrior. I cannot wield a sword, nor cast spells. But we believe it's you, and you don't need any of that. We will show you the path, and you will walk it. Leandra reached into the moss at the water's edge. From it she drew a small silver leaf, faintly glowing. She placed it into Elara's hand. Carry this close. It will keep you true when the forest turns against you. Elara's heart ached for the sisters, so she was willing to try to help them. She closed her fingers around the silver leaf. It pulsed warmly, like a heartbeat, and so Elara set out. The path to Morwenna's tower twisted with dangers. At first, Elara entered a glade where voices called her name. They were faint, like whispers through the leaves. Her father's voice, then her neighbors, then children from the village. "Help us," they cried. "Don't leave us behind. Her heart clenched, and she almost turned back. But as she pressed forward, the voices shifted. They grew harsher, sharper. "Do not go on," they warned. "Turn back before it is too late. You will regret it. You will not survive." The sound of her father's voice twisted into something cruel and cold, and fear got through her. Elara clutched the silver leaf. Its warmth steadied her, and she whispered, "These are not real. My father would never speak to me this way." The voices rose into a shriek, then faded into silence. She had scarcely caught her breath when a wolf with eyes of fire stepped from the shadows. Its body was massive, fur bristling like iron thorns, teeth bared. Elara froze as it circled her, growing low in its throat. The beast lunged, but as it leapt, the leaf blazed in her hand, and the wolf broke apart into smoke. Yet the forest was not finished with her. The trees twisted into a great monstrous form, a hulking shape of bark and shadow, its mouth gaping wide, its claws tearing the earth as it reached for her. Elara stumbled back, terror clawing at her chest. Its roar shook the branches, and for a moment she believed it was real, that she would be crushed beneath it. But she gripped the leaf tighter, forcing herself to look at it, to breathe. "You are nothing but an illusion," she said, though her voice trembled. The leaf glowed brighter until the monster splintered and fell away like ash on the wind. At last, she reached a bridge of roots that wreathed like serpents, twisting around her ankles, trying to drag her down into the dark waters below. She whispered to herself, step by step, clutching the leaf. Its light spread along her body, and the roots slackened. Shaking but unbroken, she crossed to the other side. At last, she stood before Morwenna's tower. Black stone rose jagged and high against the night sky, as though the earth itself had thrust it upward in pain. Ravens wheeled above the spires, their wings beating like war drums. The gates groaned open by themselves, as if daring her to enter. Inside, the hall was vast and cold, lined with broken stages and the stench of smoke. At the far end stood Morwenna. Her figure was tall, cloaked in black that trailed along the stones like a creeping shadow. Her skin was pale as bone, her lips the color of ash, and her eyes were dark storm clouds, alive with a cruel fire. Upon her head sat a crown of raven feathers that glistened like obsidian. She looked at Elara and laughed. "So this is what the forest sends against me? A baker's daughter with flour all over her hair, and dreams too large for her hands? You are nothing. You do not belong in a place of power. Elara forced her voice steady. I came to free the sisters. Your time is over. Morwena's smile sharpened. Over? No, child. My power is eternal. Kings have bowed to me. Queens have begged me for mercy. And you, little girl with shaking legs, I will crush you like a worm beneath my heel. Her words struck like whips, and Elara's courage faltered. The shadows thickened around her, creeping along the floor like black water. Shapes rose, faces twisted in torment, arms reaching to drag her down. She staggered back, clutching the leaf, but the darkness pressed closer, pressing the air from her lungs. For a moment, she thought that she had lost, that Morwena was right, that she was too small to stand against such power. Morwena's voice thundered. Do you feel it? This is fear, child. It is the chain that binds every heart. You cannot break it. You can only submit. Elara fell to her knees, shaking. But even through the suffocating dark, she felt the faint warmth of the leaf in her palm, pulsing like a heartbeat. She pressed it to her chest and whispered, Fear is not the chain, it is the lie, and lies cannot hold forever. The leaf flared, and light burst outward. The shadow screamed, recoiling. Morwena raised her arms, fighting it, her crown sparking with black fire. For a moment, it seemed the two forces, light and dark, were locked, neither winning. Elara's strength waned, and her vision blurred. At that very moment, she thought of her father, of the little bakery, of the 4 sisters waiting for her by the pool. I will not turn away, she said. I will not, she said louder now, her voice breaking through the storm. The leaf blazed like a star. The shadows tore apart. Morwena shrieked as cracks spread through her crown of raven feathers. It split, shattered, and fell to the floor in ashes. The sorceress's form twisted and dissolved in the smoke, leaving only silence. The curse was broken. At the pool, the deer lowered their antlered heads, but this time, when their shapes shimmered, no curse dragged them back. 4 sisters appeared, whole and free, their laughter and tears echoing through the forest. Leandra came to Elara and took her hand. We dreamed of this, but never thought to see it. You have done what none of us could. You stood against the darkness without turning away. And because of you, we are free. For this, we are forever grateful. Dear Elara, will you stay with us? Elara shook her head gently. My place is with my father, in our little bakery. But I will remember you always. Leandra clasped her hand tighter. Then remember this as well. The silver leaf you carried still holds its secret. Plant it and see what it brings. The four freed maidens joined hands and sang again, but now their voices were filled with light and joy instead of grief. No longer bound as dear by day, the curse is broken, cast away. Through forest wide our voices sing. The night is bright, the dawn takes wing. The river laughs, the trees rejoice. The wind repeats our living voice. Remember this, though dark was long, the heart is free, and so is song. Elara came home with the gift Leandra had given her, holding it close to her chest. Together with her father, she planted it by the bakery door. By morning, a stalk of wheat rose tall and golden, its grains gleaming as though sunlight lived inside them. Her father touched it gently, hardly believing his eyes. "Star wheat," he whispered. They ground it and baked with it. From their oven came loaves with a crust the color of gold, light as clouds, their fragrance spilling into the street. The scent was unlike anything the village had known, sweet, warm, and bright, as though happiness itself had taken shape in bread. When her father tasted it, his eyes filled with tears. "Bread to fill the heart," he said quietly. From that day, their little shop was known not only for food, but for joy. And if you walked by the river at dusk, when day slips into night, you might hear the voices of four sisters singing in the starlight forest. Free at last,